the topic of millennials, because I'm a very, very strong advocate of millennials. I just love being with them. And I believe that they bring a lot of value to the ecosystem. A lot of my friends in the fraternity keep saying that it's a challenge managing millennials. But my question back to them is, why do you have to manage them when they can manage themselves? Right? They know that they can manage themselves. All that they need is that kind of a help and a nudge, so that when they make a mistake or when they're about to falter, you bring in your experience and you prevent them from faltering. They really don't need to be managed. And therefore, when I say that millennials don't need to be managed, it actually becomes imperative. It kind of, you can infer that a standardized templated approach is not going to work. And why millennials? A standardized templated approach will not work for any human being, because every human being, like MJ said, is very unique, and everybody likes to preserve their uniqueness. So if you look at the way we were brought up, when we were growing up, our parents used to tell us that, now you're grown up, learn to manage on your own, learn to take your own decisions. And, you don't keep coming back to me, and you have to be independent and all of that. And when you get to the workplace, suddenly there are rules and regulations and policies and procedures and penalties for non-compliance, so on and so forth. There are those rigid attendance rules and everything. So when these standards are imposed on you, whether it is a millennial or anyone else for that matter, when a so-called standard is imposed on you or forced on you, the natural tendency is to rebel and to revolt against it and be non-compliant. So that's what has been happening. So more so with millennials, I think they're more about, they've seen how decisions are taken at their workplace. I have said this in several other forums as well, that the millennials have grown up in their homes, watching their parents take decisions on how to buy a home or how to buy a car. And they have been passive observers of the decision-making process. So when they come to the workplace, they actually bring a lot of the decision-making process programmed in their minds. So when millennials come with that pre-programmed approach of how to take decisions and how to take charge of the world and how to take control of their own destinies, obviously a standard will not work for everyone. One single size will not fit all. And how do you bring in a personalized approach? It's very simple. You don't need to have 100 personalized approaches for 100 millennials in the workplace. You need just one personalized approach, which is absolutely flexible. Treat them as adults. That's all that they're asking. So when millennials are treated as adults, you give them their space to think, you give them their space to make a choice, you give them their space to do their own experiments, you give them an opportunity to fail, and put the entire accountability on them. And that's the only personalized approach they're asking. So rather than coming up with rigid policy documents, if we were to come up with guidelines and boundaries within which millennials can work, then I think managing millennials becomes a lot more easy, and that's pretty much aligned with the expectations that they would have from any of the employers.